Hey guys, welcome back. So Ben Shepherd, who is a British UK presenter, has basically blasted Harry for being insensitive towards his father Charles, and he has basically said that it was unnecessary for him to have done that ridiculous podcast the other night in light of the fact that his father is still very much in mourning. But Harry doesn't care about his family. He is pretty much a man who is self-serving, self-centered, and he's tone deaf, isn't he? Good Morning Britain presenter Ben hit out at the Duke of Sussex as he suggested that Harry had been a parent for 5 minutes and pointed out that his father buried his father just a few weeks ago. This comes as the Duke of Sussex spoke about his mental health and described his royal family life as a mix between The Truman Show and being in a zoo. Discussing his comments on Good Morning Britain, host Kate Garraway said that he's put the cat among the pigeons. Do you know the one thing that I've heard most of all? A young dad, she said. A young dad trying to do the best for his family and feeling pain themselves. Feeling pain that you can see he's gone through with his family. And I just wonder what it would be like to talk to him in 5 years' time. But Ben wasn't quite so sympathetic, prompting him to say, and look back and think about what he's done. I mean, when you start with, I don't want to point the finger, and then immediately you point the finger, it's really confusing. Kate interjected, does he mean to point the finger though? I don't know that he's doing it intentionally. The repercussions would be that it's certainly seen as that by Prince Charles, because you're going to think, hang on, I did my best. I did what I thought was right. But we've all been there as young parents, Ben pointed out. I'm going to take the best bits that my parents did, but then you get down the line 10 or 15 years later and you put your hands up and say, goodness me, I can see why you did the best you did, and then you have more respect for them. He's been a parent for 5 minutes. What he's doing, talking about being a parent, telling people, that's the thing I find really difficult. The thing we really liked about Harry was that he was so normal and down to earth, and there's something that has happened. His father buried his own father just a few weeks ago. I can't imagine how impossibly difficult that has been for the whole family. So someone has commented on this piece and they have said, does this surprise anyone? That interview aired whilst his grandfather was in hospital, so it's only fitting Harry would speak this way after Charles just buried his own father. He isn't showing any grace or humility. He needs to stop. It's almost like he is being vengeful and spiteful now for the sake of money and airtime. I feel sorry for the future of his children. And that's the bit that I think is going to really trip Harry up in 10 to 15 years' time. His children are going to resent the fact that they never was given a chance to choose to be raised in the British royal household and have the British customs and traditions. And they will also resent the fact that they do not have any access to their family, their cousins. They're not going to know them. And I know that children always appreciate having more and more friends and more playmates, the more the merrier. So that is really going to bite Harry in the bum. And I think that's his biggest mistake to date, because although Harry's childhood was flawed, he was surrounded by love and he was surrounded by all of his family, his extended family. He knows all of them. And that has contributed to the man he is today. And it's also contributed to the man that William is. And William has turned out to be a great guy. and he's not suffering. I do not see the face of someone who's trapped or suffering or miserable. I just think that Harry has a lot of mental health struggles that he still needs to deal with. He's not fully healed, and I think that he needs to seek more therapy, more intensive therapy, and certainly not rely on Meghan, the wife, because she doesn't have any answers. She herself has a hell of a lot of issues surrounding family and surrounding how she treats people emotionally and her psyche, her decisions in her relationships and her personal life is really quite questionable. So someone else has also commented and said, Harry is quick to criticize his family and tell us how he wanted to quit, but is happy to continue milking his royal status when it comes to making money. And it's true. I mean, Harry really is just not someone that can be taken very seriously. So another person has actually come to the defense of Harry in the comments, and they've said, sociology scientists have concluded boomer parents were damaging parents. They were cold and unloving, but gave plenty of money in lieu of that love the children actually needed. That's why you're seeing a huge influx of mental health problems in boomers' children. Millennials are damaged by their boomer parents, and when raising their Gen X kids, the millennials are better parents because they know not to pass on that pain. Google it if you don't believe me. Harry isn't wrong for speaking up. Harry's pain is his own, and he can tell who he likes. The fact he's speaking up is helping many people in the same position as him. It isn't ungrateful, it's raw and real. Well, they're saying that he's speaking up and helping many people in the same position as him, but do they realize there's only a handful of princes and princesses that walk this globe, and there's very few people who are in the top 0.01% tax bracket. So I don't really understand how he's helping people. He needs to tell this stuff to a therapist and get help privately. He's not helping anyone because he's making his brother's life a bit of a nightmare, and his brother's children's future lives, he's putting their future at risk, all because he's determined to seek some kind of therapy in a public forum and make money out of it. It's not a genuine cry for help because there are very few people who have experienced what Harry's experienced and grown up with such immense privilege. He needs to keep his thoughts and feelings to himself, and he needs to do it in a private way. It's just simply a waste of time. He's making a spectacle of himself. So another person has said, whining, hurting and bad-mouthing about one's own family to get attention and money is not normal and down to earth. That's called ungratefulness, vile attention seeking, and spineless irresponsibility, which is true. I mean, it serves no one but him. He's getting money, but he's also dragging his family, and he's not getting the psychological help that he should be seeking in therapy in a private way. So, yeah, I just think that it really is just an unveiled attack on the royal firm and on his dad, Charles. With all that being said, I'll be back with another video. Bye, guys.